What I am going to talk about today will make sense to some, and some people will be really against it. And that's okay because I think depending on where you're at in life and what your current situation is, you may have very strong opinions for or against this. But I want to talk about a concept where we have desire or want, and that want is rooted in future. So we say we want more money, for instance, and we think about this future where if we had loads and loads of money, just imagine what we could do with it. Imagine all the people that we could help. Just think of how useful and how powerful that money would be if we had it in abundance. And yet, if you look how you spend money now, how closely does that align with this future that you dream of? Are you spending money to help people now? And you could well argue that, well, I don't have the money now. I don't have abundance. I have just enough to cover what I need. And yet, likely, if you really evaluate what you have a lot of luxury. And you may not even see it as luxury, but it is luxury. Things like a Netflix subscription or a music subscription, or you eat out and stuff like this. There's probably lots of ways that you are not spending your money optimally now. Or maybe you just save your money. Maybe you don't spend it on anything and you save every penny that you get. And then your money becomes stagnant. It becomes stale. Money is like water. It has to move. It has to flow. And if you try to hold on to money, if you try to just keep it in a pot together, then it just becomes stale. It loses its value. It's just numbers. It isn't circulating. You should think of your pounds or dollars or whatever currency you have as little workers. And you always want to put your workers to use. You don't want to keep them idle. You always want them circulating and being useful and practical, either generating more money or going towards something useful or helpful or practical. But what happens is when we have desire, we tend to remain in scarcity. So we want more money. That means that with the money that we have, we end up with this fear-based attachment with it, that it's a finite resource and we have to get more and we don't have enough, so we have to hold on to what we do have. And this kind of thinking ends up limiting and reducing and exacerbating the issue, because your money is then not working for you. It's something that is just going on the necessities or the things that make you comfortable. Or maybe you're depressed that you don't have that much money, so some of that money goes into comforting or masking that depression. It goes into entertainment, and you're not really addressing the problem. What you are doing is masking the problem. So you're spending money to mask the problem of not having enough money. And there's all these kind of circular dependencies around things like this, especially when it's a want or a desire, where it may even be something like time. We want more time in a day. We feel like we never have enough time. But then when you really look and evaluate how you spend your time, a lot of it is either wasted or it's inefficiently used. We spend so much time making decisions that should be relatively easy to make. We spend time procrastinating. We spend time idle or scrolling on social media or watching something on telly or something like that. And it's not that that's inherently bad, but it is a choice that you are making. And if you're asking the universe for something, if you're saying, please God, like I wish I had more time, then it's only right that the universe challenge you and says, well, how are you spending your time? How are you spending your money? What are you doing with your space? Because if that is not in check, if you were truly in need, there's many times that people are spending every penny on just surviving. They're just, they're asking for money, and it's from a place of almost desperation where they need money and they are just trying to do their best to survive. They are absolutely, living bill to bill, check to check. And obviously that's not what we're talking about. this is for those people in the middle, in that comfortable pocket where they have just enough to keep them where they are, and they don't have enough to be satisfied or happy or content with where they're at. And that is always the dangerous pocket, because if you have it bad enough, then you will be highly motivated to change it. And if you are happy, then you're going to be happy. You're going to be enjoying it. But that comfortable pocket is where a lot of people sit, where they're in between. They're not quite happy and they're not quite dissatisfied. They're just making do with what they've got. And from a mode of survival, making do with what you've got is necessity. But outside of survival, making do with what you've got becomes a choice that metastasizes into all sorts of depression and sadness and stunted growth. It robs you of motivation. It robs you of wanting better for yourself. You become accepting of something as like a permanent state. Like, I'm here, things aren't that good, but that's okay. That's just how things are. And it robs you because you don't have the motivation to change it. You are too comfortable to want to do something about it. And I think it's important that when we have these wants and desires, to evaluate how we are using what we have already. To be grateful for what we have already. And it's okay to want more. It's okay to say, I really would like to experience, having the freedom of abundance, being able to go and do whatever I want and not being limited, not having to count every penny and worrying about doing things because of how much it's going to cost, and, to be constantly stressed and worried about money. And yet at the same time, how you're spending your money currently is either fear-based or on sedation, entertainment, these kind of things. Because if you were truly spending your money wisely, and you were spending your money on education and things that were going to financially enrich your life, then you wouldn't have this problem. You wouldn't. And you may believe that you would, but you wouldn't. And it's the same with energy. You say, well, I'm exhausted. I don't have the energy to do these things. But look at how you spend your energy. You're doing things that you don't want to do. You're arguing with people that you don't want to argue with, or you're constantly having disagreements, or you're overextending yourself, or you don't have boundaries, and all of these things are sapping your energy. Of course you don't have energy. But the universe is looking at you and saying, well, this person is asking for energy, but look at how they're spending it. If I give them more energy, then they're just going to keep spending it on other people. They're not going to spend it on themselves. They don't spend any of it on themselves. So why would I believe that if I gave them more, they would do something different? It's the same with all of these things that we desire. If you are not aligned with those principles that you have, if you're not doing with what you have already what you want to do, then why would you be given more? Why would you be given more time? Why would you be given more freedom? Why would you be given more money? Why would you be given more energy? Why would you be given more space? Because look at what you do with it. Look at how you squander what you already have. Every day that you wake up, you are given a day. And if you are not truly living that day, and you're not living it for fear that you might make a mistake, or something might hurt you, or you might lose something, or you might die, or there might be some consequence to what you do, then that's not appreciating what you're being given. You are being given a day, an opportunity to do amazing things, to really live. And every day you are choosing to squander the opportunity of that day. And I know it's rough to hear. And I know because I have these conversations with myself often. And I realise that there is a balancing act to this, where it's not sufficient to just berate ourselves, and there is a limit to what we can do. If you're just doing something because you want to do it, you want to go and eat out, that these things are not bad things. It's not bad to want to watch a film. It's not bad to want to go to the cinema or go out to eat or go on holiday. It's not about that. It's about your attitude towards things and feeling like you don't have enough. And that is a fear-based mentality. It's scarcity mindset, where you believe that you don't have enough. But with what you already have, you are not making the full use out of it. And in the corporate world, this is how they evaluate teams, right? They say there's a group of people and they're all working. And there is a workload which comprises of X amount of hours. We have hired X amount of people. If those people are only performing at 50%, then they're not going to hire more people. They are going to get more efficacy out of the people that they already have. If those people are operating at 100%, then they're going to go, well, these people are at their limit. So we need more people. We cannot physically get any more out of the people that we have. So we need to hire more people so that we can do more work. Well, realistically, they're going to expect the 5 people to do 200%, but let's not speak about that. It's just an analogy, right? But that is similar to what you have to apply to your life. When you are scaling, which is, you want more from life, you want more abundance, you want more opportunity, more freedom, more resources, more space, more this, more that. And it's not bad to want more, but you want more. And when you want more, you have to realize that before I ask for more, I must make use of every little morsel that I have. Use every bit of energy that I have towards what I want to do. Use all my resources towards what I want. All of my energy, all of my time, all of my money. I'm going to put that towards things that align with me. I'm going to put that towards things that give me joy, that bring me life. And then when the universe looks at you, it's going to go, wow, like this person is doing everything they can to get to this ideal that they want, to live this life, to align themselves. They're already aligned. It's not that a case of if I give them more, they will be aligned. It's that they are aligned now. So I want to give more. I want to give more because I want to see what they do with it. Look at how much they are doing with what they have. If I give you scraps and you turn it into gold, then imagine what will happen if I give you gold. And I don't really care whether this is provable or fact or, whether it's theory or metaphysical. I care that that mindset is necessary and it allows you to get out of this feeling of scarcity, that you don't have enough, that you need more and that you need more to do more and that you are limited because you are not, but you are limiting yourself. And when you remove those limits and you do everything that you can with what you have, then you must be given more. And you will be given more. I say that with certainty. You will be given more. When you start doing everything that you can with what you have, making the absolute most out of all of your time, effort, energy, the freedom and opportunities that you have, you will be given more. And if you have to ask for more, if you feel like you need more, then you are probably not doing everything that you can with what you have. You have untapped potential, untapped resources. There is places where you could prioritize, where you could streamline. There is areas where you could grow that don't require money. Maybe it's an education problem. Maybe you need to learn, let's just take the money example. Maybe you need to learn about what makes money more. Maybe you need to upskill, learn sales, learn marketing, learn business. And all of that can be learned for free. There is an abundance of resources out there. You can go read books. You can go to the library. You can go online and access all of these excellent resources. We live in an information-rich age where it's all there, and yet we ask for more, and we act like it isn't, and we say that we don't have enough. We don't have enough opportunity. We don't have enough resources. We don't have enough time. We have more than we have ever had. Everyone has more than they have ever had. So how can you ask for more? And if you are sitting there and you are truly thinking to yourself, I am trying, I am doing everything that I can, I am putting my heart and soul into it, I am prioritizing, I'm doing everything that I can to keep going, to attain what I want to attain, to give my family the life that I want to give them, to have the life that I want to have, then keep going. This isn't applying to you. Just keep going. Dig in and keep going, because it will happen for you. It may not happen now, but it will happen. It has to happen. But I would think long and hard before giving yourself that award, before saying, I am that person that is doing everything. Because if you truly analyze yourself and look at your life, look at how you spend your time, your money, your resources, there is a high chance that this does apply to you. So don't give yourself that out. Don't give yourself the excuse that you're already doing your best. Because you may be, but maybe your best isn't really your best. Or maybe your best isn't good enough. Maybe you need to do better. And that can be hard to hear for people that are very, very hard on themselves, because we feel like we're already doing so much. But maybe it isn't a case of doing more, but you are doing the wrong things, that you need to change direction, that you need to change approach. Just because you are doing a lot, that doesn't mean that you are doing a lot of good, or doing what is right, or doing what is good for you. That just means that you are doing a lot. If there was a car that needed moving, I might be putting all of my effort and strength. I'm trying, I'm sweating, I'm bleeding, I'm putting all my effort into lifting that car and putting it somewhere else. But the car has wheels, and maybe I just needed to push it. Maybe it's not for lack of trying or lack of effort. It's not because you're lazy, but it's just because you're taking the wrong approach, or you're doing it how you've always been doing it, or you are doing it in a way that keeps you safe, or keeps you out of risk, or prevents you from having to do that thing that you're scared of, do that thing that you fear. Put yourself out there. Do something that is terrifying to you. Do that thing that you really don't want to do. Or maybe that thing that you're avoiding is exactly what you have to do, and no amount of pushing, no amount of wishing, no amount of fighting is going to do that thing for you other than doing the thing. So next time you find yourself saying, I want more, or I want this, or I want that, or I have desires, ask yourself, what am I doing to get there? Thank you for listening.